right. Good morning. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I think I was having some mic problems before I started up here in our coffee live stream. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see who rolls in here. It's midweek Wednesday, hump day, and as a coffee crew rolls in, I see Candace has arrived. But before we say our hellos, just want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. It's a good way to kind of start my day. If you are watching for the first time, don't be afraid to say hi. Good group of Canadian investors, mostly Canadian. We have had a couple people from other places that seem to find us through YouTube. So if you're watching from somewhere else, don't be afraid to say hi. Good group here, the coffee crew, as we like to call them. Talk about TFSAs, talk about investing, market, and sound is achy breaky on your ears. Well, let's see here, Candace. Yeah, let me know if it's working, because it seemed to have some issues when I first started up. Hopefully it sounds okay. I might have to restart and redo everything. Sometimes it doesn't cooperate fully. But good morning. So do let me know, because I unfortunately cannot hear it. We might have to switch over our mics. And let me just see. Give me a thumbs up if it is working okay. Because it should be. It's saying it's connected on my end. My levels show okay, but all that good stuff. Good morning. Coffee and donuts. Let's roll, and hopefully this sound works. That's always hard. If not, we'll have to plan another day. Roll with it. Chat GPT joke of the day. Candace, always love these. Easter theme this week. What does the stock market and the chocolate rabbit have in common? Both can experience a meltdown, but only one is still delicious when it happens. Yes. Speaking of meltdowns, one of my office REIT in my TFSA, I should have been keeping a better eye on it. They cut their dividend hugely, and a bit of a meltdown today. I didn't catch it, but caught it kind of now too late. Down quite substantially. Dividend cut about 70%. But again, I mean, I'll still haven't sold anything. We'll keep on to it. My portfolio is long term. It's kind of down to where it was on after 2020 COVID. So either it's opportunity or disaster. I don't know yet, but haven't added any more to that position anyway. So it's a slate office REIT. Lots kind of happening with offices, right? Office vacancy, return to work, all that fun stuff. So that is obviously impacting that REIT. I haven't added anything to that position for a long time. Actually, it was kind of sitting close to where I wanted it to be position wise. So we'll leave it. We'll see how it goes. Still, dividends are still coming in, although they are far less. But we'll kind of keep an eye on that further. But might be some, I don't know. I'll have to read a bit more into it, see what the heck is happening. Might be some opportunity there to eventually add to it a little bit. Since everything in my portfolio is kind of a long-term hold on there. So that's okay. Other than that, yeah, market not looking that great today. But again, try and ignore it, right? You try and ignore days that are look kind of terrible, and at least for me, and keep on moving forward. Stick with the plan, right? Boring monthly or weekly dollar cost average into what I've set out for this year, and nothing's going to kind of change that. So all good. And Candace, do let me know if the sound is working. That's the big if. And I'm still breaking up. Okay, well let's go old school here. We'll try this. I can switch my mic. And let me know if that sounds better, please. What I can do is I'll pause that. I'm going to unplug my mic and then back in, and we'll see if we fix it, because I can use my computer sound. Maybe that works. Maybe that's better. Still choppy. It might be the stream. That's what I have a feeling it is, Candace. Sometimes YouTube does not like to cooperate. Go here and see if we can get this back. Maybe sounds better. Same problem. Sounds still choppy. Okay. I think we might be into a YouTube stream. Thanks for your help, though. It says I've got a good connection, but I don't know. I don't know why. Let's let me. Interesting. I'm gonna see if I can change my settings. Bear with me. Bear with me. Mic set up. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna stop streaming for a sec. I'll be right. All right, let's try it. Let's see. Fingers crossed. The issue I'm having is usually I would hear. Maybe that's a bit better. Almost like feedback. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, bizarro. We'll see if that doesn't improve. We might have to end it. I am not sure. I am not sure. That's what I'm going to do. I'll restart the stream. All right, we've rejoined. I think it might be working now. Hopefully it's the same. People can join on. Thanks for your patience. Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me properly now. Stream should be restarted. Thanks for your patience. Vic, joining back, watch some more ads, all that good stuff. I think it's working. It sounds better on better on my end. There we go. Thank you. There we go. Let's start from scratch. There we go. So it's working. Sounds better. Think Heart Mind. Awesome. And I think welcome to the channel. Thanks for helping out. Thanks, thanks, Vic. Always fun. Now I'm all thrown off. Where were we? Let's go back. Let's get back to the start. Let's go back to the beginning so you can hear me. We'll maybe edit that after. The fun times of live streams. These are always good. Lucky I'm not lucky. There's only a few of us here, and I'm not. my job does not depend on these live streams because I wouldn't definitely make it. Let's just start from the beginning. Here we go. We are back. Candace, always good to have you here. Hopefully you can hear me now. Obviously, channel member Candace, always appreciated for joining in. Always usually first. Paul didn't beat you today, and let's get your joke because I don't think anybody heard it the first time. These Easter themed jokes, I forgot totally that Friday was a holiday, Good Friday. So probably no stream on Friday. We'll see how the time goes. Might take a long weekend. But what does the stock market and chocolate rabbit have in common? Both can experience a meltdown, but only one is still delicious when it happens. These are bad. These are bad Easter themes. There we go. Who else we got here? Jerksy Beef. Good morning. I'm gonna skip over all of the sound choppies because I think everything is working. And I saw Vic. Thanks for tuning in, Vic. Appreciate it. Thanks for your help. And yes, everything working much better. Coffee mug. I need some coffee now. That is for sure. What's going on with HEB? Newly launched 6-bank ETF, cheaper than ZEB. I'm not sure what that is. Vic, let me do a quick search. HEB. I'm not sure what the heck is going on. Is that a newly launched 6-bank ETF? Oh, okay. HEB. It's not showing up for me, but what is that? Must be a new ETF. One thing about the banks lately, though, Vic, is they seem to be not having a great time. I read TD especially, TD especially down quite a bit, and TD's the most shorted bank stock. What I read yesterday on Twitter. So see what happens with that. HEB launched April 3rd. Oh, okay. What's the full name of it? Like, what's the full name of it, Vic? I'm not seeing it on my search here. I'm gonna have to HEB. Sometimes when there's new ETFs, they don't show up on the charts and stuff like that. So, is it a Hamilton one? I'm not sure. They sometimes just don't show up right away as they start to launch because it's only 2 days old, so that's probably why. I'll have to check that out though. Good call. Yes, we were talking about that Think Hard when the sound was crap, and Slate Office REIT, not great, crap. Yeah, down big time today. So I own Slate Office REIT. I had a feeling they were going to be reducing their dividends, but it's yeah, their dividend dropped by about 70%, so down from like 3 cents to 3.3 cents, I believe, to 1 cent. So not good. That's why it's down 32%. Lots happening with vacancy rates and with this whole work from home, return to work. So it seems like the office REITs are not doing good. Vacancy, there we go. Yeah, like interest rates are high, rents are high, vacancy's low. They're not doing that great right now. They're kind of down to where if I think looking at Slate, I looked this morning. It's kind of down to where it was on 2020. The whole COVID drop. I think it's even below that, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to really look at it, but it's yeah. So I don't know. I have it in my portfolio. I haven't added to it anything for a while, other than obviously get the dividends. I usually can buy a share with them, or could at the time. So I'm not going to sell. I'll hang on to that. Everything in my portfolio is really long term. It was a small percentage. Less than 5% at the time before it dropped. So nothing to sweat too much about at this point, but we'll see. Tough times ahead for office REITs. I think tough times ahead for everybody, for everything. And again, Drixie Beef, yeah, TD down again. BMO I haven't looked at, and it's yeah, interesting times with TD. I don't know if when I said it with the sound breaking up, TD is the most shorted bank right now. In out there, huge, I guess, quite a large short position against TD. We'll have to see what happens. There's TD. I mean, I do own. There we go. Yeah, Zach had. Yeah, there we go. Zach, good morning. Welcome. It is. I saw that yesterday on Twitter. The world's most shorted bank stock is TD. Now, I don't know if you necessarily want to bet against TD. I obviously not any kind of financial advice. I think. With it being a Canadian bank, I think it's pretty secure. Could be obviously, right, famous last words, but I think I mean they are tied into what do they own they own a portion of is it Charles Schwab down in the States, and they're also, what's the bank that they're wanting to make an acquisition of down there? So I think they're tied a little bit more into the States than over. I forget the bank what it was, but yeah, I mean that's the one thing. I think if something was to happen with one of the Canadian banks, the government here, I think we're pretty much guaranteed they're going to step in pretty quickly. With the concentration of banks in Canada, so I think pretty safe. But so there might be some opportunity there. I don't know. I don't own individual TD stock. I have it in VDY. I don't plan on buying anything, but we'll see. Oh, good call there. Tomorrow is the ex-dividend day for TSLY. Good call if you want a piece of that dividend. Oh, TSLY. That one. Yeah, I looked at that. That's the one you said in your video, Candace. That looked kind of interesting. And I looked. It was not on Wealthsimple. Now I looked on Wealthsimple, and you can request ETFs. Did you buy any of that one, Candice? I guess maybe through National Bank or something. I think you have. I would jump into that because I like the volatility, um, but I haven't. It might be a day. It might be a day to kind of look at it, especially Tesla. I think Tesla is down quite a bit the last couple days. Not quite a bit, but it's enough that it might kind of make sense to kind of maybe jump out of that. We'll have to see. Yeah, let us know, Candice, if you bought some of that and how it kind of pans out. Might be not bad. Put some position in there. I think I'm long term. I think I'm long with Telus, or not Telus, sorry, Tesla. That's a good long term hold. I think I'll try and buy more Tesla CDRs when I can. So it is more shorted overall, but very small. Okay. Wealthsimple, yeah, Vic, we've talked about that a little bit. They are rolling out a lot of different kind of products to their investor, more so on the like robo advisor side of it, not the self-directed side. And they are, so they've got a few new products that they've launched. Now they do have I should say, yeah, they do have private equity that's starting up. You need to have $100,000 minimum deposits. I think that's across everything. I don't know if it's just on the invest side or not, but I think it's across their platform, that they are offering that. Now they're saying targeting 9% return. Not always, future performance doesn't necessarily is going to read that, but yeah, that's kind of another option. And then of course they have the venture fund. I invested in the venture fund. That one right now it's actually doing okay. It's mostly in US dollars right now. They have had the first like kind of capital call on that, but it's about 5% of what I've invested so far. It kind of it does break it down for you. So most of it is still sitting in the Purpose US cash fund. So it'll get dividends. They don't pay dividends monthly. They hold them back and kind of pay them quarterly. So that's what's with that one. But I don't have the private equity one by any means. I think their minimum, minimum, you need to have 100 grand in there, and you need the minimum investment in it is $10,000. Might be something to look at if people have the funds in there to do it, just to diversify maybe a little bit. I don't know. Again, everybody's different with what they want to, what they're investing in. Candice, 8 shares, as I just don't have a lot of, in your US account, 8 shares. Okay, well, you'll get that. You're with the dividend, you'll have some more money in your account in the next few days, or whenever when they pay. Kind of interesting. Is it on National Bank, Candice? I'll go over to. I know on Wealthsimple you can go over to. Through their website, you can request certain stocks and ETFs to start trading. I'll put the request in for that one and see. Not that they're going to add it, but they might. If there's enough people, I think, that look at it. Although it is a fairly new one, so sometimes it just takes a little bit to get back. Yeah, with such a huge dividend, I suspect it would keep funds tied up for a bit as the price recovers. Our ex-dividend day. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sound is back. Hopefully it's working. If not, we'll see what we can do. We'll have to maybe get back tomorrow and call it a stream. That's okay. So National Bank. Yeah, I looked at National Bank to set up just to kind of try it out, but I haven't. I've been kind of happy with where I am at Wealthsimple. Does what I need to do. So yeah, that'll be a good one. I will add that. I will add that in tomorrow, or add that request in today to add that. And we'll see. Maybe add a tiny bit to the TFSA just to kind of see what's happening. Back to your comment as well, Vic. For Wealthsimple's new products, they also have the capital, like that private capital fund with $100,000, but they're also offering. I saw on an email that they're offering higher interest rate if you have more deposit, more invested with them as well. So they have that cash account where you can, and I don't use it, and you can tap and all that kind of stuff. It's tied to their, is it tied to their Visa? I have their Visa. I think it's a Visa. I could be wrong. Or is it a MasterCard now? It's a MasterCard now, sitting in front of my desk here. and they pay 4% interest, but they also pay cash back on purchases. 4% interest if you have over $100,000 invested, not sitting in cash. So that's kind of one thing. And I think otherwise, if you do is it do your paychecks direct deposited into that account, they pay 3%. So something a little bit better than obviously a regular savings account at a lot of the banks right now. I know there's some promo stuff at different places, but maybe that's one thing for people to kind of look at, to have some cash there to put into savings. It's not too bad, especially if you have that $100,000 in there. It will kind of bump you up a little bit. They must want deposits in there, so people start to buy more shares and invest in their different things. So they're definitely starting to kind of do a lot of stuff. And I also did see a email from them yesterday about that FHSA, the First Home Savings Account, that started up April 1st, where nobody has. It started up April 1st, but no one, I think, other than Quest Trade has it for the First Home Savings Account. So apparently Wealthsimple will be starting an FHSA account, First Home Savings Account. I haven't done a ton of looking into it. I'm not. I think you cannot have owned a home within the prior 4 years or 5 years before setting it up. So I don't qualify to even open one up, from my understanding. But maybe something to look at for certain people if they're planning to buy a home in the next thing. It's probably something I would actually open when I'm eligible to open it. I will probably open it up just to have it and then see, because there's always kind of opportunity maybe in the future to be able to put some funds in there. But I still have a ton of room just in my TFSA, and I also have a ton of room in my RRSP as well. So, but again, in the future, you never know. Might be something to kind of look at. Kind of looking at that. So all good. Sound is all good. Okay, it's just playing tricks today. It's just playing tricks. I did have. I think that was all the new stuff, if I'm not mistaken, with Wealthsimple. They're sending out. They are trying to. It's good, I guess. They're trying to get new products for people, trying to get things kind of going. But yeah, I think that was the only kind of new ones. The only article I did have an article. We might as well share it if this will cooperate. And let's pull my screen up. There it is. We talked a little bit. MC's not on today, I don't think, unless they're in the background lurking. Unless I missed them, make sure didn't miss any comments. Nope. No, I didn't. Okay, perfect. We talked a little bit about housing yesterday, mortgages, all that kind of stuff. That always seems to come up. It's home prices. This is Toronto, but noticing a little bit more. I'd have to try and find some lower mainland where I am stats, but I'm gonna think probably kind of the same. Toronto home prices rise for second month as the market tightens. There's really not a ton of. The biggest thing with buyers right now is they're not finding anything to buy, it's. Reading here, so in Toronto, the benchmark price climbed 2.5% in March from a month earlier, which is pretty crazy. But sales listings still down from a year earlier. But it's just showing that there's really no inventory for people to buy. I have a few clients that are basically looking for places. They want to sell their place, which they will easily be able to do because there's not a lot on the market. But the problem is then they have nowhere to buy. So it's like a stalemate out there. So we're starting to see, I guess, prices kind of come up a little bit. But so that's with that one. And yes, it was a good first quarter for dividends. Vic, I had like a record for me, anyways. It shows slowly and steadily building up your portfolio. This last quarter was a record dividend payout for me, which is nice. So adding to the portfolio, I did the obviously channel members see that over on the community tab, but yeah, record. It was great. Nothing to complain about those ways. Yeah, all good. Nice. It's nice. It's nice to wake up. I mean, even if your portfolio's down, it is nice to wake up to those. You get those emails or you get the notifications that it's you got some more money in your account to reinvest. So it's freezing. Is it freezing rain there? No good. It's nice. It's actually decent out here on the west coast, Canada. It's a bit chilly in the mornings, but it's been pretty good so far. MC is here. Good morning. Good morning. And Vic, no, MC stands for more cash. I think that's what we decided a while ago, is more cash. More cash. MC, if you want to set your kids up for success, buy them real estate. Yeah, I think that, and a lot of people have done that, right? Though a lot of people have obviously taken equity out of their houses and bought rental properties with the thought of having their kids move in there, possibly maybe somewhere close to maybe where they might go to university or school. And if you want to set your kids up for success, buy them real estate today. Most likely future generations from here, real estate will be unattainable. I think so. Anything I've kind of read is that it is definitely going to be tough. And generation, like, what is it? The different generations are have thought like it's completely unattainable. But again, there you go. Oh, Candace, there we go. Oh, thanks, Candace. Gifted a channel membership. And who got it? Matthew Milner. Awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. And thanks, Candace. Thanks for gifting that. There you go. So Matthew, you'll be able to check out the community tab, see the dividends that come through, any kind of buys, any kind of sells, all that kind of good stuff. And I also do share the odd kind of channel member only videos, so you can check those out. And if you have anything you want to see in particular or know about kind of what happens behind the scenes or questions, I will answer them and try and do them in a video for you, for the channel members. Yeah, that's the one thing we're not seeing that, Vic. We're really not seeing it, right? I mean, it's really hard for people that are first starting out. That's for sure. Yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough for first time home buyers as well in big cities. But we're seeing more and more people move. We're seeing more people move to smaller communities, smaller cities, smaller towns because it is affordable. You see a lot of people now that can work online, work from home a lot more. So that might change. It's just the lifestyle is different, right? If you're, if somebody's when you're young and you want to live in the city, we are seeing here more people move the interior, but it's getting pricey as well for what the prices are. But of course, if there is some kind of, like you said, if the prices have to drop, if there's some kind of correction, sometimes farther out will definitely get hit the hardest, right? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Margin call on a bad day, mountain of cash on a good day. That makes sense. Yeah. Let's hope there's more good days than bad. Yeah, Hunter. Sometimes a lot of places now, Vic, don't even have parking spots with their units. Yeah, that's for sure. If you have a spot with a unit, it can you can sometimes get a premium. That's for sure. Yeah, could. You never know. City of renters. Yeah. And that's the thing. You're buying a $500,000 studio condo. It doesn't really play well into grow but this is what we're seeing. People aren't having population-wise, people aren't having as many kids because they can't afford it. They don't have the space, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's super. I think this comes from. We usually talk a lot about politics on the channel here, Vic, but it's going to have to come from the top, and it's actually going to have to get solved. The problem is it doesn't happen fast with the governments, but it's going to have to be. And I think if one of the parties, whatever whoever you vote for, I don't care, but one of the parties, I think if they get on board and actually can present something and actually follow up and do something, they will start to get those younger voters to actually vote them in. But it's really tough. It is really tough. Is Toronto still busy? Yeah, tons of condo. There's still, I mean, there's lots of building, but there's still not enough. Yeah, and it's expensive. That's the problem. That's the problem. You know, crazy condo fees. The condo fees are expensive. Strata fees, yes, expensive. Everything expensive. And our balconies. Oh, in Ontario, it's balconies. Balconies are pretty popular in the West Coast. In the West Coast here, I mean, we maybe have a bit better weather in terms of that, but I wouldn't live somewhere without a balcony, especially in a smaller condo. And that it's nice to have that. It makes it feel like you have extra space, because you can open the door there and just kind of have some outside little bit of outside space, instead of being kind of feeling like you're cooped up in a building. So Nailers, surrounded by downtown, getting too much, can't move, stuck. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I lived in the city when I was younger, in my 20s. It's great when you're in your 20s. I wouldn't want to necessarily do it now, partially, but cost wise, I mean, it doesn't make a certain sense. But it's yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the prices are crazy. Unit sold 5 days ago, mid Toronto, and I don't know where that is. So you'll know, hopefully, Vic, where that means. I've only been to Toronto a couple times, and I couldn't tell you any of the areas back east, by any means. Oh, Vic is in Alberta. I don't think I knew that, Vic. I was in Alberta a couple years ago. Yeah, yeah. Alberta's nice. The city's nice. Nice clean city. So far, it's kind of, yeah, quiet city though. That's for sure. Although it's, I think, booming now. Kind of boom bust all the time. Lots of vacancy in Calgary. Speaking of REITs and real estate, lots of office vacancy there. Although it's probably picked up maybe a little bit with oil, but hard to say. It's been a bit since I've been there. Yeah, that's the thing, MC. And all the voter base is old boom. What do they say? Old boomer homeowners. So why they don't want things to change, right? Because they're sitting on, if they're sitting on equity, that's their, a lot of people's, that's a lot of people's retirement money, because a lot of people don't necessarily have a ton of investments. This is the problem in Canada. A lot of people necessarily don't have a ton of investments outside of their house. Yeah, and the GDP does rely huge in Canada on housing market and market demand. A little too much. One time, you on your balcony, your 21st floor, accidentally spilled one of those fish bowls containers full of marbles, and it rolled off the balcony as it fell from the balcony all the way down to the street, down below. Your neighbors down below would have loved you. One time, Candace, I've always usually had a cat, and I lived on the eighth floor, I think. No, 11th floor, something like that. And she got out on the balcony, but she jumped up on the balcony, and the living room had like a big window, but the balcony wasn't out of the living room. The balcony was off the bedroom. So she kind of got into the bedroom, out on the balcony, and then walked on the little ledge that was about this wide outside the window on the concrete, and walked all along the front, that the window of the living room. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And I was trying to get her in. She didn't fall. Cats are pretty smart, but it was scary enough. Yeah, gotten out there. So I had to make sure. I ended up getting a she ended up having to got a screen door, so she couldn't get out, sneak out. Yeah, the big thing is we need more rental buildings. There's a few rental buildings going up here, but obviously it's never enough, right? But immigration, the thing is though too with immigration, obviously they're coming in. It's gonna propel everything to be more expensive. People have to live somewhere, right? But the problem, I mean, with immigration, are people going to come here and then not stay? I don't know. Like that's the big thing, right? It's coming to. Are they going to choose? Are people that are wanting to immigrate to different places ultimately going to want to choose somewhere else to maybe want to go to? I don't know. That's the hard part with people. I couldn't imagine coming here. You need a lot of money in order to do it. They'll need to also do, there's a whole bunch of things with immigration, having to get them retrained. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. But it's definitely hard. Excuse me. Kelowna, Victoria. Yeah, it's tough to get a doctor in the Lower Mainland here. What's a doctor? I'm still waiting for one. I'm not. I'm on the island. I don't have a family. I haven't had a family doctor for probably. Couldn't tell you. It's been a long time. Thankfully, knock on wood, I'm in fairly decent shape. But yeah, that's the one thing that is tough, Vic. I think that's across everywhere though. Yeah. And MC and Vic, I'm not. I'll let you comment and through about the rapid transit lines, because I don't know what you're even talking. The names make no sense, but it's people. I know people commuting. Like I have a friend. My friend lives out there in Ontario. He lives in Guelph, and there's people that commute there downtown. I couldn't imagine. It's much like here on the West Coast and Lower Mainland, people commuting from Abbotsford, Chilliwack, driving at least an hour each way, like one way. On a good day, it's an hour and a bit. That's what, like, on a Sunday morning, it would take you an hour to get from Abbotsford to downtown Vancouver, if not more. And I can't imagine people that do it every day on a commute by for that long. You would just, it would drive you insane. It would drive you insane. Yeah, I mean that's kind of, yeah. It's harsh to say and sound like that sometimes, MC, but I get it, right? Like it's a city. If becomes a city of renters, it's like that's kind of what you can do. I mean, Vancouver is like that. Downtown. I mean, they had the west end of Vancouver has been apartments for decades and decades, and it's been renters there. And that's kind of what's built. I mean, it's only been really in the last 20 years or so that there's been more condos built on the in the east, kind of the east side, east end of like downtown core, Yaletown is what it's called. But those are more condos where people will live, but still a lot of rentals in there, but not purpose built, not necessarily purpose built rentals. But everything in the west end is very purpose built, but also lots of low rise, old, step up rentals there. Um, that could be, if there's obviously incentives for developers to redevelop, but then the problem is where you get the renoviction, right? You have all these there's a building that is 4 stories high, 3 or 4 stories high, and everybody would have to be evicted, and then of course there's nowhere for them to go, and like it's this vicious circle, right? um, of doing that. Yeah, and that's exactly it. I mean, the service industry, they would have a very, very hard time finding people. And what would be the point? There would be no point in that's the thing. I mean, if you're working in, we'll pick on Starbucks, right? If you're working at a Starbucks, and this is why we're seeing some of them. I think some of them closing too down in the cities. I haven't been downtown I can speak for Vancouver. I haven't been downtown for a while, but I know some of the Starbucks and stuff like that have closed, partly because rents are too high, partly because they have a hard time finding employees. Uh, and why would you commute an hour to work a service job where you could find the same job out somewhere else closer to home? So that's the thing. If you unless like you said, unless you're increasing your income, moving up, planning to move up, get promoted, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure. Um, Lots of comments here coming in. Yeah, that's kind of it. It's easy to complain, right? People like to complain, but you have to kind of sometimes make changes to yourself and look in the mirror and realize it. If there's somewhere cheaper, that's kind of why I live on the island. It's cheaper. I love it, but it's nice here. I'm also close to the beach, so it does work out. It works out both ways. But I mean, I'm fortunate enough I can work from home. I know a lot of people can't always work from home, and that kind of thing. But that being said, if you're working in the service industry, you go past all the grocery stores here. A lot of the places are still hiring for workers. So. You've had to sell. Oh, that's unfortunate, Vic. But hey, if you need some cash, that's okay. Hopefully you sold when you're up a little bit on some stuff. I know you bought some stuff. I think you're probably up on some of them. Probably up on some of them. You've been on. Yeah, I've been on. There's a thing you can sign up for here too, Candace, as well. And you can always go. I mean, you can go to the clinic. I actually live across the street from. It's not a hospital, but it's like an urgent care place. So if there's something really serious, I can go in there. It's never. I mean, sometimes it's busy, but it's at least there's that. Yeah, all good. But I am on the list. I've been on the list for like a family doctor for like I couldn't tell you how long. I don't know if they have TELUS. I don't know if they have the TELUS Health in BC or not. I'd have to look at that. I don't think they do. I think they should expand that because it kind of makes sense. And I would happily pay whatever the amount is if I have to kind of do a virtual doctor visit to kind of save myself some time and get some prescription or whatever, right? So in GTA, it's normal drive 1.5 hours each way. Somebody like 2, yeah, that's kind of like Lower Mainland. It's at least an hour and a half if you're far out east. Pretty crazy. And then you get a bad traffic day and you're ready to drive off a cliff. So unless you want counseling's not covered. Yeah, that's I think like here. Oh, so your Ontario pays for TELUS. Oh, okay, interesting. I have to maybe look into that more. I haven't had the need to go to a doctor, so thankfully, fingers crossed. So PEI allows it, but not. I have to look at it. I'll have to look on the TELUS. It's funny. I should have checked it out. I was on the TELUS yesterday. Yeah, TELUS website yesterday because my mom has one of those TELUS home things where if you fall or something like that, and I was getting that fixed up. Yep, I agree with that, MC. Victim mentality. Yeah, I think Canada there's quite a lot of that. Yeah, I agree. You have to kind of just look in the mirror and pull up your pants and make the changes yourself. That's for sure. Can be annoying. Okay, Vic. If you're putting the cash in Tangerine 5% till the end of May, you need the cash to pay off something, but can't take risk if market drops. That's a good call. Don't if you can't risk losing. Look at, for example, perfect example. Me today. Slate Office REIT down 30%. It's not something you don't want to have your stuff invested in stock market if you are going to need the cash. That is for sure. So. Don't take that risk. Don't take that risk. So good call there, Vic. Nothing wrong with making 5%. That is for sure. No family doctor for 3. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened with mine too. My doctor retired. She retired a long time ago, and just never got another one because he moved around and all this kind of stuff. But anyways, yeah, those are kind of it's hard. It's hard. It's definitely hard to find a doctor. That's for sure. And if you could live off GICs, wouldn't even bother investing in the market. It's true. I mean, we're not necessarily at the point now where you can live off 5, whatever the rates are. But it's helpful. It's not. I mean, it's nice for a change. How long MC these rates I mean, I think we're going to be in a higher rate environment for a little while, but I could just as much see rates starting to come down a little bit. So it's yeah, we're definitely not making, like, back, if you look back in the like late 70s and stuff, paying 10% and stuff like that on your deposits. That's not probably going to happen, but it would be nice, if you could live off them. Yeah, I would too. If I won the lottery, I'd probably just fire a bunch of it into a GIC and live off comfortably off the interest. But again, you need quite a substantial amount to make it make sense. But anything is better than nothing if you're able to, sock some way into GICs for sure. Especially maybe taking advantage of right now. I know a lot of people put money into GICs, but of course, locking stuff up, not for everybody. You got to look at what your timeline is, all that kind of stuff. But go with that would be nice. And the TELUS dividend came out yesterday. Was it yesterday? Day before? Yesterday. I got the email. Yeah. So that's all good. Nothing wrong with those. Those are all good. VIX plan. Yeah. Invest for 25 years. Put it all into GIC and withdraw. Take a little bit, probably not a bad plan when you get to that point. You have to obviously look to as transition your investments as you get older, right? And look at what you're doing, for sure. Is always good. Yeah, it's just long term, as we'll be in there. I still have another 20 years, probably 20 years of work maybe. Realistically, yeah. But again, I'm fortunate enough I can work from home. Like, I sit in a desk, so. And yeah, that happened yesterday. MC McDonald's starting to corporate office. They're starting to possibly do layoffs. It looks like more and more, right? Still Tech has really been hit. Starting to appear in the lower end. Yeah. I think we're pretty much. I mean, they haven't called the recession yet, but it's probably good. I think it's a good to kind of, not good to kind of say, but I think it's safe to say we're probably at that point, because we're starting to see more layoffs in other places. So we'll see. I think is it Bank of Canada? Well, Bank of Canada's next week, the 12th. Is it the 12th? I think we'll have a pause, Bank of Canada. It'll be interesting to see what the Fed does as well. So, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We're starting to, the increase in rates is starting to filter. It just takes time, right? It just takes time. It just takes time for it to get through the system. And Candace is going to work to your 70 and then ask ChatGPT 97 to make a robot. Yeah, you can have an implanted robot on there. I think you're right, Vic. I think we're in for a longer period of higher rates and higher inflation, probably for the next decade, unfortunately. And we probably won't see, like you said, a friend got 1.62 mortgage 2 years ago, or a couple of years ago. I don't think we won't see those. I mean, never say never, but I think we're pretty safe to say we're not going to see those if anything, very, very, very soon. Yeah, you never want to have your own. Makes sense. I'll read the rest of your comment because it gets cut off, MC. But for most, it depends. This is back to having everything in a GIC. For most people, everything in a GIC at retirement is not a great idea. You could easily outlive your portfolio since it will have no real growth. GICs actually have no real growth. That's kind of where, yeah, that's actually kind of based on obviously prevailing rates of the day, but. You never want to have all your eggs in one basket, right? Because you never know. I mean, obviously, GIC is obviously you're more obviously guaranteed what your rate of return is, but you have to kind of look, and I think you saw it here. 50-50 is probably a better split to look at. Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to really still keep an eye on things. Look what happened this past year with. I mean, if you had a lot of older investors would have typically had a lot of bonds in their portfolio. Whether, I mean, typically what the split they would say would be 60-40, but again that would shift probably as you're getting older. But if you had a substantial of your substantial investments just in bonds in retirement, you would have been absolutely hammered last year on your investments. So it pays to pay attention, keep paying attention, even when you're not maybe actively investing more money. It definitely pays. Will pay attention, or sorry, should pay attention to what's happening with your with your portfolio. Never stop paying attention, I guess. Oh, busy morning for Nadia. That's all good. Good to have you here, channel member. Awesome. All good. I think I've lots of comments rolling in here. It's awesome. Keep us going here today. We won't see. No, we won't. We hopefully won't. But we're kind of in the middle. I think we'll have a four in front of them for in a 5-year mortgage rate for a while now. I think so. Yeah, that's the thing. You're losing money. The big question is, MC, what do you put your money into right now? That's what I ask. It seems like there's, it's hard to know. Is the formula 100? Okay, use your age minus 4% in stocks. It used to be 100, but it's moved up to about 120. So that's not good. What is it? Your age minus, or sorry, 100. So if it's 120 minus your age, that's the percentage you should have in your portfolio for as a stock, as a percentage. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to figure out what mine should be then, and see how I'm probably over in stocks. Oh no, I'm about mine. For me, I'm 70. If we're doing 100, if we're doing 120, I should be 73, 73% stocks, and I would probably say I'm about that. Actually, I'd have to kind of look at my whole thing, and figure that out. Good call. I'm gonna check that out. I'm probably actually around that mark, between cash savings and stuff with my RSP and my Lira. Yeah. Based on what I've read, hold tongue-tied here. Based on what I've read, hold the most in equities at your risk profile will allow you to. Okay, my plan is to go 25-75 or 20-80 for life. Okay, yeah. Kind of might make sense. I'm definitely, I'm probably, yeah, like I said, if the calculator is saying 73, I'm probably around 80, like closer to 75, 80, 20 right now. Between cash, like if you add in any kind of savings in there. You were 0-100, okay, but obviously, yeah. It's always nice to have some cash. That's the thing. Even if, I mean, this is the thing. It is kind of nice that even as sitting in a savings account, if you can, like Vic said, if Tangerine or somewhere is paying you 5%, or you have maybe cash in one of the ETFs, paying 4.5% ish. Nothing wrong with holding cash. Never is. Just don't have. Everybody's different, right? But don't have all. You want to be invested, but then on the flip side, don't get over invested, because sometimes you never know when you might need some money. We've talked about that a little bit with emergency fund and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes I think MCUs have if you have available access to maybe like a line of credit that you can pull from in an emergency, that kind of thing. You might be better off having certain things invested in everything, but everybody's different. So that's where it kind of makes sense to learn, and that's what these streams are about. I always learn a lot. That's for sure. And these are always fun. I think I've got all the comments. We're coming up to the end. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We're coming up to 9 o'clock. I'm busy, which is good. Busy at work today, which is all good. And we'll get your comment in here before we go. It's awesome. The best way to look at your full portfolio is return of both equity plus fixed income, GIC, cash total returns. There we go. Good call. Never hurts to look at how your portfolio is doing. Keep on top of it for sure. Don't over change things, but that's for sure. Which is how returns calculated: 60/40, 80/20 portfolio return. There we go. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with the sound issues at the very beginning. Always appreciate it. It is Wednesday. We get through the hump day today. We'll be back tomorrow for another live stream. Do really appreciate everybody tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button on in the stream. Helps out the channel. We'll get people here to watch the replays. And we will catch you all tomorrow. Definitely, this was a good one. Technical difficulties aside, this was fun. Always learn lots. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to the new viewers that kind of tuned in. Always appreciated. And thanks to all the channel members. And extra thanks to Candace. Thanks for gifting that channel member, brand new channel member on there, which is nice to give membership. And we'll